We got another exciting session here. We're going to talk about the equity markets. We're going to talk about what's going on with the Nasdaq, the S&P 500. We're going to look at what's going on with the dollar over here on the DXY, checking in on our levels on gold. Yes, also silver. And we're going to be looking at Bitcoin, putting that all together right now. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. These past couple of sessions, we've looked at a couple of things. We've been asking, or I've been asking the question whether or not this is a bear flag or if this is a bull trap. Or if this is a bull trap. It looks like, as in yesterday's session when I said that it was a bull trap, it looks like that as in yesterday's session when I said this was a bear trap, we got a bunch of bears caught on the wrong side of the market. And look at this. Not only, let me tell you what's happening here structurally so everyone is on the same page. By the way, this is now flipped into support as we're trading above it here, closing on the daily time frame. If I flip over to the daily time frame, you can see that we've closed above that level right now. Now, is this looking bullish? Is this looking bullish right now, or do we still have some work to do in order to regain the damage that was done on this correction over here? Well, now that we've regained this prime trend line, things are looking a lot better over here. You could see that we regained first the channel. This was the channel that we were trading within. We regained that, and now we've pushed past that resistance. That was prime trend line resistance right over here, and also this horizontal resistance. We've closed above both of them. Things are looking better and better right now. I have to say, in just a quick second here, I'm really proud of our work over here, staying on the right side of the trade. This is when it's the most difficult moment over here, when you're at some critical junctures where you could get a really big trend change, and we've done our best to keep ourselves on the right side of the market, which actually brings up something pretty important over here. There was an amazing comment over here by William yesterday. I'm going to read it to you really quick before we get into the S&P, before we finish what's going on with the Nasdaq and the next levels we're looking on, and before we get into everything else. He's like, look, Jordan, the mojo is down. I think that it's clear. It fits the narrative to politics. There's no stimulus coming, no to massive unknowns with Europe elevating COVID. Also fits the Fed and the SoftBank, etc. no longer buying, downtrends getting broken, unless a rabbit comes out of Trump's hat, no vaccine news is not doing what it used to do, or the Fed does decide to step in and buy. I think we go lower until elections is understood, or I think that we go forward to elections is understood. Your attention and knowledge with technicals, you're a master, but also would love to hear these things being measured as part of the analysis. That said, I watch every video. You do amazing work. Thank you, William. I love the comment, and I'm gonna talk about it. And the reason why is, listen, all of those things, all of those macro pictures, it's a passion. I consider them every day. I try to put the pieces together. There are points when we get together and we really focus in on the bigger picture, on the macro. But listen, all I could do is follow price. If I start looking and painting myself into a corner, if I start painting what I believe the narrative is, I could catch myself on the wrong side of the market for the wrong reasons. I agree with you. Everything that you've pointed out is true, and even more. You didn't even bring up the solvency issues, right? We have really big headwinds in front of us. What do bull markets do? They climb a wall of worry. Listen, at the end of the day, price is everything. And by following price, by following the nature of the market of support and resistance with the help of trend lines and chart patterns, we're able to stay on the right side of the market. If I were leaning in to what's going on there, the bigger picture, I would be short and short strong. But by following price alone, I'm keeping myself on the right side of the market. I do not want to paint myself into a corner. I want to be open. I want to have that unbiased outlook so I can continue following price action. At the end of the day, price is correct. Now, by the way, speaking of price, where does that leave us? We've definitely regained this trend line over here. That's the prime trend line. Horizontal support at 11,066. Things are looking more bullish. Now, a couple of things need to happen. First of all, resistance is here now. It's this upper portion of resistance that we're targeting. Okay? What do I mean by that? Do we get out of, let me turn off these notifications. What do I mean by that? If you are in a long position, I don't believe anyone is. On the S&P, we got a lot of people long. Reason being, we looked at it this morning, right? People went long here, took profit here, probably stopped out at break even. You don't buy into resistance. I'm assuming I'm assuming if you're on the right side of this that you're neutral right now. What we're looking for is a retest of either this trend line or this support and the resumption out of it. That's a place to pick up a buy entry on the Nasdaq. Now, is that possible that doesn't happen? Is it possible that we go straight up into this resistance over here? Of course. Of course. Don't worry. Don't have any FOMO. What is FOMO? FOMO is the fear of missing out. You feel like the market's moving. You're not in a trade. You're not involved. So here's what happens. You have some people that as price starts going up, they chase momentum and they buy here into the resistance. Don't buy into that resistance. If we clear above that resistance, right? If we have two opportunities, right? We have the one we just looked at down over here. We have three opportunities. The second opportunity is going to be this. If we clear above this resistance over here, that gives us an opportunity at a much, much higher probability, safer trade here, going long on a breakout, retest, and a resumption. That would be a happy long over there. Things would be looking really good. Now, of course, we could be rejected by this resistance over here, and that could take us back down into this support over here. This will be support by then. Or lower into this trend line support. Resumptions off of there also are good buying opportunities. We'll continue to navigate it together. Right now, we just want to focus in on what's important. What's important is that, and look, we have the Nasdaq leading the way, right? You've heard that over the past few sessions, past week, that if we do resume up, I think the Nasdaq's going to lead the way. Nasdaq up 1.7, right? But it has regained the bullish structure here. It's not bullish yet. We still got work to do. It's not until we come out of this channel on the upside that really are things looking very bullish, and then is a really good time to get involved. Right now, looking for a retest of this broken resistance. Make sure that trend line holds as support. Make sure this horizontal resistance broken now support holds. Resumption off. That's a great buying opportunity as well. Do you see how we navigated that market together? Do you see that bear trap over there, right? Listen, S&P 500, a lot of people probably long this morning, long over here. During the live stream, we looked at it. It was an entry right over there. Stop loss is pretty clear too. Stop loss we put really tight underneath this trend line, because if that breaks, that's resistance. We will be selling below the break of that trend line. We're looking to attack on both sides. However, the S&P is not looking as bullish as the Nasdaq. The S&P still needs to get above its prime trend line over here. S&P is able to recapture that and clear above this horizontal resistance coming in at 33, 39. Do you remember that was support all that time? If we get above that and able to flip that into support and resume off of it, that's a fantastic place to get involved in the S&P 500. Right now, you got to be protective. What does that mean? If you're long here right now, you have a very tight stop loss. You need to get out if you're wrong on this one. Still looking to take profit in here, probably more than the normal small piece. Probably looking to take a little more, maybe 30% of your position off. That's pretty big resistance. If we're rejected there, I would not be surprised at all. Does that open up a short being rejected over there? Yeah, that's pretty good resistance. I could definitely see being rejected by that resistance. Looking to take a short position in there for sure. All right, let's see what happens though. Make sure you cover yourself. Make sure you cover yourself taking a small piece of profit as we come into that resistance. That way you could lock up your trade and stay safe. The one missing piece here of what's going on is the dollar's pretty firm today. You're seeing the equity markets pretty much bid, nice healthy day after Mnuchin and Powell testified. By the way, check this out with me right over here. I want to bring up this headline for you. The dollar surged after algos misinterpreted Evans' headline that the Fed may raise rates before 2% inflation is hit. So listen, you have over here headlines, algos reading headlines, algos reacting off of it. This is the most important comment down over here. Bad headline, terrible headline. Evans acknowledged, I don't want to see the Twitter. Evans acknowledged the flexibility in the statement. that the inflation boogeyman still lurks in the minds of some of the FOMC, but not him. He prefers to run hotter, not limited to a timid overshoot. It appears that it was algos overreacting. Nevertheless, we follow what's going on with price action. Couple of bits of insight to add to you. First of all, Bitcoin on that strong dollar. Dollar's up 0.5% today. Bitcoin is still strong, up on the day, almost 0.8%. Bitcoin, though, however, is kind of in no man's land, right below that resistance of 10,572, and basing out right over here. It's consolidating, right? It could break out either way. If it regains 10,572, very bullish, especially after breaking out on the bull market, coming back and testing it. And if it's able to keep making higher highs over here, very, very bullish, but it could go either way. It could definitely go either way right now. Still a cautious outlook on Bitcoin. Gold, with that strong dollar today, it held up pretty well. It held up pretty well. By the way, step out a second. You gotta move with the market. The market is this living organism that's pricing in information as it occurs in real time, each and every moment. You can't get stuck. If you didn't watch the live stream this morning, it was a beautiful session. We talked about this trend line over here that we've now added. Thank you, Tom. We've added this trend line over here. This was all resistance, right? And you can see now that it has become support. Okay? Do you see the pattern that is still developing? Do you not see that this is still a triangle that's developing? If you're holding gold, we never lost 1900. We never closed below 1900. There's never been a signal to sell gold. However, now comes the flexibility. At this point, I would wait to see a break of this trend line support coupled with the horizontal support. A break below, you could exit your gold trade. Should you sell? Absolutely not. I don't think so. By the way, speaking of interesting stuff, check out this over here. Today, the Congressional Budget Office released their projections through 2050. Here's where we are right now. Look at this madness. Look at buy gold, buy Bitcoin, scarce assets, devaluation of fiat, devaluation of the dollar, buy gold, buy Bitcoin. By the way, quick service announcement over here. I received an email from listen, I will never in a comment on YouTube, if I'm going to let you know anything, it will be through a video on YouTube. I will not in a comment under Conquer Trading and Investing give you a phone number or a WhatsApp number. Check that person, right? See how many followers they have. You know how many followers I have. What do we got? We got 55,000. Check the follower. I will never do that. I will never, ever, ever invite you into an investment like that. Ever. Be careful out there. I will never send you an email talking about an investment or cryptocurrency either. I will never do that. I will never send you an email. I will never spam in the comments. If I'm communicating to you, it's always through a video. Yeah, right? This is the course. I'm not going to ask you for a payment for the course through email ever. If you're interested in the course, there's a link below. The best education. People are seeing fantastic, concrete results. If you're looking for a strategy, if you're looking to learn and work more closely with myself, highly recommend it. But I will not reach out to anyone at any time ever through any type of spam in the comments or through an email. I will do it by video, communicating to you as I always do. Be careful out there. There are always scammers. And I think that the more people attracted to the channel, and rightfully so, right? We do a good job protecting each other, keeping ourselves on the right side of the market. The more that type of nonsense we may see, stronger together always. So what I'm talking about over here, though, on the dollar, all right? Look, I'm not yet calling a breakout on the dollar. We still haven't cleared above 94. Is it possible that overnight over here, the next thing that we see over here is we start seeing lower lows, and then either this trend line holds as support and we resume off? If we take out that looks like the counter trend has begun. I'll be saying it tomorrow morning. The counter trend move on the dollar has begun. And then we'll be looking at where the resistance, where we were looking for that to sell into, right? We have a couple of areas we'll be looking at. This is a counter trend move. I do not think that we're going to see a big move on the dollar. Why? Well, I have a couple of reasons for you. I have a couple of reasons. Reason number one, debt is going to continue. Government's going to keep spending. Stimulus is coming. When? That's another question. Fed is continuing their purchases. They're expanding their balance sheet by almost $1.5 trillion a year. I don't see it. We'll watch it. We'll just keep ourselves on the right side of the trade. When it comes to gold, this is very important. When it comes to gold, use the levels on the gold chart. Forget what's happening on the dollar. It is possible you could see a rising dollar. It is possible with a rising dollar, you could continue to see stocks rise, and you could also see gold rising, and also Bitcoin. Go back to January and February on your charts with that super strong dollar that we saw. That impressive move on the dollar all through January, all through February, gold was stronger. Stocks were rising. All right? Trade the dollar as it's happening on the dollar. If we get any type of retest here, and it's a successful retest and a resumption, I'm going to say the counter trend move is now official, right? And I'll mark it, just like I did over here when we went short. However, we need a successful retest before we could say that. It is still quite possible we could fall back into here. And the dollar, although it looks like it's breaking out, it hasn't broken out yet. We have not got that retest and resumption and calling that. I'm not calling it yet. I'll circle it as I call it. It'll be tomorrow during the live stream if it happens, or during the afternoon update. Not yet. Not yet. And keep your levels on gold. My stops now below, if you're trading paper, would be below this area over here. Below this area. Okay, 1873. It gets stopped out. Resume back in here. We'll get long again. Stay neutral. Keep your powder dry, because we could, breaking out of this pattern to the downside, we could be looking at we could even be looking at 1750. 1800, we got a little bit of support. 1750, we have support, right? Is there support under that as well? Yeah, 1700, you know? We'll mark it as it comes, but right now, this is, what happens if you resume off here? Is this a place to buy? Jordan, would you add to a gold position if we resumed over here overnight? Absolutely. That's a good looking area over here. You have a tight stop loss. You have a 1-to-1 risk reward into the resistance. That's trend line resistance over here. Why would I take a 1-to-1 risk reward all day long? Because it's better to 1-to-1, first of all, but I'm not taking profit here. Take a small piece off, move my stop loss to break even. I'm looking to push levels for the breakout. That's a good looking trade if we're able to hold that support or this trend line support and bounce off of it. This is where you should be looking to buy into gold until we break below here. Break below, make sure you're out, make sure you're neutral, and then we'll look to buy in at lower levels. Selling gold? Absolutely not. We're in a bull market. We're seeing that continued trend is the devaluation of fiat. Listen, Bitcoin, here's the marks to watch out for over here. Bitcoin's looking very good. It needs to clear above 10,570 in order to feel good about it. To feel good about it. Right now, this resistance is holding. It's possible that we break down over here, and at that point, the chances of closing the CME gap down at 9,600 are pretty strong, pretty high. If we lose this area over here, 10,250, 10,180. In that area, if we lose it, we could see much further. So, all we're doing right now, this market's tough. This market's tough. We're keeping ourselves on the right side of the market, taking it day by day. We're doing our best to stay unbiased as possible, follow the technical levels, always aware of the macro, always passionately putting all that together. The markets are fascinating. Love them. I love sharing it with all of you, but at the end of the day, we need to do our best to just look at clear, unbiased analysis and do our best to hold ourselves, keep ourselves on the right side of the trade. It's not always easy. The most difficult is always when you get big trend changes, right? You could see how we almost had one right here. You see how we were able to hold ourselves, to navigate ourselves through it. Same thing on the S&P 500. That's good trading. That deserves a like. If you're still here and listening, please go ahead and smash that like button. I do appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Have a great day, everybody.